A local warrior from Volcor thinks that calling himself Fang makes him sound a lot cooler than he actually is. More after this.
Fresh and
All right, folks, welcome back to yet another episode of Fresh and Buds. I'm your host, Tommy Fresh, and you are all of my buds. And today we are joined once again by the legend himself. It is Mr. Viz, aka Gary, in the flesh and blood. Well, not really. This is digital. Scratch that. Gary, what's going on? Welcome back to the show.
How's it going, man? Good to see you. I feel like we've been talking to you a lot lately. You know, ever since they put out some Riptide spoilers, you tend to be you're lurking a lot. I saw you since you got married too,
yes,
which is cool.
Yes. We had a blast.
And then, it was a blast. It was a great time, and yeah, things have been good in the new year, man. Can't really complain. Flesh and Blood's popping off around me. I love it.
That's great. Yeah, Flesh and Blood. It's a good game. I think we'll talk about it this week.
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
we'll touch on a few things. Yeah, no, it has been a good year, and you know, obviously, it's awesome to hear that it's been popping off for you. We're going to get to some of that as well. We do have a great episode for everybody. We want to talk about some expansion slots shenanigans and also the daggers, because we just saw all the what I'm assuming is all the daggers this week. We saw Syndra's, Fangs, and Arachnes, and the token one that I can't pronounce, but
graphing calculator is what my locals have been calling it.
Okay, that's actually easier.
The graphing calculator, I think that's what we'll go with.
Yeah, we'll go with that one, but it's going to be fun. Gary, if you don't know, loves Viserai, but also if there's anything that Gary loves more than Viserai, it's math. And
oh yeah,
boy does he have some math for us with those daggers. So check it out later in the episode. But I actually want to bring the daggers up now so I can reference them later. But I want to know. Well, first of all,
there are so many daggers, and I'm really excited because none of these three classes are like my mains. But I've always been kind of a sleeper warrior fan. I really like the reaction. I really like the weapon reliance. Flesh and Blood having a weapon all the time is really nice. It's just one of those things that just doesn't really transfer over from most card games. It's just a really nice, versatile, consistent piece of damage, right? And what's really interesting about this set is it feels like Warrior is the only one that might actually have that. We don't know yet. It seems like their weapons are going to be a lot more expendable, which is really cool.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of that, especially because it's kind of a space that they've only just touched on, and I think it's gonna come to its full realization soon. But before we do talk about it, you're glowing purple right now. For those,
always, man, always.
For those watching on YouTube, Gary has a purple glow to him, and well, I think Viserai's had a pretty good time since Rosetta was released. We were joined by you shortly after Rosetta's release just to talk about the juice that Viserai and Runeblade got in general. And now we're almost at the end of the Rosetta season. I think it's essentially over now. We're getting ready for the pre-release in a couple weeks. Are you happy with the state of Viserai?
Yeah, man. I mean, he's just one of those heroes that, we talked about it last time. He goes through these ebbs and flows. I think this might be his first, feast of his first and last, big burst of the year. With RTN season coming up, I'm a little hesitant to see where he's going to go. It's a little. I'm a little anxious to lose my guy. I think overall he's just not consistent enough to be, a threat on the table every from an armory perspective, he's great, right? And will he top 8 in an event? Probably. But actually following through, we've been doing this, we've had these conversations for years at this point, right? He's not great at finishing. And I think RTN season is where he always will, is where he'll ultimately find his demise, and that's going to be sad. But like, he had a good run, man. He had such a good run. I mean, the fact that people are playing Ninth Blade in the main deck is not something that I would have predicted, like, even a year ago, right?
Oh yeah.
Like, Ninth Blade was one of those cards that you were just like, you play it as a dream, and you just kind of hope to get there, or it's just the best popper versus a Prism. But man, playing a Ninth Blade, we were at Armory on Tuesday, and I've been lending out my Viserai deck to my friend who's trying to learn. And he played two Ninth Blades in the match. I was playing Aurora, and he played him off of a blue and a blue. He had 6 rune chance. He just played it off of a blue, right? Like, those things are just not things that would have been possible before Rosetta. And I'm just like, I'm really happy that we get to do it. It's a little bit of a swan song season for him. I mean, and the thing is, honestly, I'm going to be a little controversial here. I don't think he's that good in LL. I think there's just better options,
There's
like
some crazy stuff going on.
There's some crazy stuff. So it's like, I mean, Skeleta's Skeleta, but like, Chain is Chain. And actually, Florian, did you see those Florian players who were doing that? And I forget, I think it was at Worlds where they had like an LL. No, it was Chicago. They had like a match. It was 2 Florians against each other, and they were playing Amethyst Tiara. Because they were both building up these giant rune chant piles and using like Germinate and Skeleta to basically try and gain more life than the other and generate more rune chants, and just piling up. And then the minute it's almost like Kano versus Kano, where one person goes, then the other person has to go. But because Amethyst Tiara is spell void, it ends up preventing all of the rune chants that the other person's doing. So it was, I mean, there are just some crazy things to do in LL, and I'll always be a big fan. But it is one of those things where it's like, it's bittersweet.
Mm-hmm.
It's a setting sun, if you will, to see my boy, get so close to the end. But hey, I mean, Dash IE's been around for a long time with 980, right? She's the new Briar at this point.
Yeah. Well, I guess she's at 940.
I thought she was at 980.
There's 30. I'm looking at it right now. 30 points from Rosetta's season. I don't know if that's included. I have to imagine that's included.
I think so. So 940 then.
940, but like, these are 2 heroes from, well, I guess you can call beta of Flesh and Blood, right? Arcane Rising set number 2, and the oldest heroes to go first. I wouldn't be surprised if Viserai goes before Dash. Is like, as crazy as that sounds.
I know.
I think the rate of the points that Viserai will be getting is a little bit higher. Now, what do you think though? Is it in this first half of the year? Because we could see a lot of heroes go in a really short amount of time. I mean, just to kind of round it out, we have Zen's very close. Zen's still very good.
Yeah.
Viserai very close. We talked about 825. Dash at 940. Fi at 796, who's been there for a long time, but is about to get a whole new Draconic set. Yeah,
I think it's really funny. The Fi issue, we had a new player start, and he was like, "Oh, I'm interested in Fi," but this was before we knew anything about Hunted. And I was like, I mean, he's good because he's not going to be, he hasn't gained points in a while. He was good at one point. And then ever since the spoil, because he was on Azalea because the Azalea deck's cheap and good. But he's been so excited for the Hunted spoilers. It's been really nice because he's like, oh, I get to do my thing because it doesn't matter now.
Well, yeah. I mean, Syndra is very cool. So
I think we're gonna lose a lot of heroes right now. It's gonna be a big, the question is how many Mistveil heroes are we going to lose? Are we going to lose 2? Are we going to lose probably just 1? I don't think. I mean, Enigma's very good, right? And like,
Enigma got 600 points in Rosetta's season. That's a big chunk, I would say. I would say it's a big chunk. Now, that did include a Worlds win, right? And probably a couple other things. Now, I don't think we'll lose Aurora quite yet. I think she's
No,
got a ways to go.
I hope not.
She's very cool. Now, you said that you played her for the first time, right?
Yeah. Because I was lending out my Viserai deck, and we go to the bar before the armory, and I was like, all right, convince me. I brought Florian. It was like 2 pills. I brought Florian and Aurora, and I said, all right, convince me. How do I decide not to play a hero that has Mordred Tithe on his text? And they were like, well, you know how you like to play creepers, like you play your actions as instants. Well, Aurora gets to do that, and I'm like, oh, okay. So, but I forgot, Lev. I totally forgot about like electromagnetic somersault and like all these. I mean, when I was playing, I didn't even think of the interaction because I was too busy, just learning the new hero. I mean, I know it's just Cheerios, but like you do really have to make her hands work.
Mm-hmm.
It almost feels like Lightning Lexi or Lightning Briar. It was really cool though, and I will say, like, even as a very long-term Runeblade player, like picking up a new hero for me was I was just out of it. Now I was like 4 drinks deep, so that might have been I don't want to I don't know, but I mean, it was just really cool to play a new hero. And it's funny because on the last episode we talked about like what's your class, and it was like Lightning Runeblade, I think, right? And I was like, well, hey, hold on. I was thinking about that. I was like, oh my gosh, we kind of found our home.
We got it.
Yeah, but no, it's cool playing other Runeblades.
It's got to be cool also to play a Runeblade that does attack a weapon in the middle of the chain. Mm-hmm. I think that
I love it.
I mean, I was a big fan of the sequencing in chain, and I just felt like Aurora was close, obviously without the shadow stuff going on. And she's a lot of fun. Now, you do some TOing, for those of you who don't know, at Dark Depths in southern Philadelphia.
Yeah.
South Philly.
It's barely south. It's off South Street.
It's all South Street.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you had a kind of a win as a TO recently. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so it was actually really interesting. We've had there's 2 main stores that we did the main store that I work at is Dark Depths. That's like my home base. But our regular Armory store is this store called Philly Game Shop. Both stores only got 12, like a single kit for pre-release, which I don't know how much you've talked about this. It's kind of a bigger issue for players and store managers, I think, than people realize. But LSS dropped the pre-release allocations for each set. So like basically for the Hunted, it's the first time that stores were only getting 12 seats as their like baseline. Traditionally, it was 16. And 4 players really isn't that big of a difference. But when you have a pre-release, an event like pre-release, it brings out the people who aren't coming every week, right? And when you have 2 stores in a major city that had only 12 seats each, right? And it was tough, right? Allocation for pre-release is something I don't really understand. I would think that LSS would just be like, send as many as possible because we want to get new people playing the set. They're just cases, right? Mm-hmm. But we had to fight pretty hard actually at my main store to get a second kit. And this wasn't even the win I'm talking about. We was talking about this is actually a completely other, which I don't even think I told you. I think more. I've been trying to get 2 kits for both. Okay. And Dark Depths was able to get it because they purchased a lot of product and we had good numbers. But at that store we only do 2 events a month, right? So like from an LSS perspective, we don't have that many people coming in the store regularly. Like we have maybe like a 10 to 12 person armory, and then we have like 8 to 10 players come in for social play because that's all the store has the bandwidth for. But Philly Game Shop though is in like an old like convenience store storefront. There's like 12 tables in there. Like there's a lot of space, and last night we had 14 at the armory, which is awesome. A few weeks ago we had 18. The queue in like the Discord server has 21 people in it.
Oh wow.
This was before we did anything, right? So there's the 20 people queued up for the pre-release, and that's not counting like the people who aren't shining up because the wait list is 8 to 9 people long, right? So why would I? And so I took it. We work we took it on upon myself. I was like, the LSS doesn't want this, right? Like they don't like if there's gonna, when I think back on, we'll get to this. I'll finish the story, but basically I said, no, I'm gonna, LSS. Well, I guess they were working with the distributor because the stores don't really work with LSS that much. The stores really work with the distribution. Distribution said you don't purchase enough product. In the same situation, they told Dark Depths, well, we do purchase enough product, so we'll give you another kit. We'll make it slide, but show us you need that, right? So I wrote a letter. Actually, I wrote an email. It was pretty persuasive. Got it workshopped with one of my buddies, and basically I was like, we have 12 seats. Rosetta, we maybe had 12 people total, but now we've gotten, when I talked to you last, we get like 1 or 2 new people a week, right? Like great. The 14 we had, like let's say maybe 4 to 6 of them are new within the last month, right? And so it's like maybe 2 months because of the holiday, but like, yeah, it's been crazy. It's been awesome to see. I even wrote in the letter, I was like calling out, like people are coming over because they don't like the way Magic is turning out. Like we got like 5 or 6 people who just are modern grinders to just try the game, and like they love it. But this is their first pre-release, and if I see 8 of them in the queue and it's 12 veterans who know to sign up because this is the best time to play the game, and 8 new players who are just on the sidelines, I'm not going to let that happen. So I wrote a letter basically saying, here's what we're dealing with. I put 12 gems in there with people's names next to them. I sent a screenshot of the queue, and they replied, and they're like, yeah, well, we're going to get you guys another thing, another kit. And that was awesome. And like, they did not have to do that. They didn't. It's like 2 weeks out of pre-release. Yeah. Like they got Prague coming up. Like we're just one random store. So I felt a lot of joy because like, I said, we're going to do this. Like I don't like to write in and be that kind of person, but like if I was running a business and I was, I work in marketing and that kind of thing, but like if a random fan just sent me a letter with clear like 21 people want to do this event and we're just going to kick out 9 Magic players, that's the way I wrote it essentially, right? I was like, you have 9 Magic converts that aren't going to play because of your new allocation method. And it worked. So we're going to have 2 24-player pre-releases, and that is crazy. That is the largest I think we've had ever in the city, because we've only had 2 stores with pre-releases, but we've never had like 24 people for one. But 21 people in a queue, and that's just, it blew my mind when I saw that. Gave me the motivation to really try something, and it shows that LSS does listen. They're not just sitting in the background. But if you want to reach out to them, you might be able to make some progress.
Yeah, and that's the tough thing about like the 3-tier system, right? Like going from a distributor to a retailer. There's they're kind of the distributor or wholesaler or whatever is told one thing, right? And they're like, hey, listen, you got to allocate it this way, and that's just how it is. And, there are some circumstances that need to kind of be in consideration. Obviously, this was one of them because you do also want to grow the game. Now, understandably, you want to grow the game by just the regular box sales or whatever. Yeah. But you got to get people to play it first. And that's just the nature of the beast. So good on LSS and good on you guys. It's pretty exciting. That's pretty exciting to have like 21 people already signed up. So that's,
and it blew my, because like you think about it, right? Like, and I don't know how much you've talked about the new gem packs that are coming out in February, but those actually, like, those are going to change the way stores get allocations, like in general, because this is a whole other rabbit hole, but like the minimum a store can get allocated is 50. It's a single like case. That's supposed to last 2 months.
Oh, 2 months.
Yeah. So it's 2 kits per season, and a season is 4 months. Yeah, okay. So if your store doesn't have good attendance, if your store doesn't run weekly armor events, if your store doesn't have, unique gems, then you're only going to get those allocations based on, your store attendance, which my store, Dark Depths, we're not getting the most, right? Because we don't have that much. But if you're not if you work for a store, attendance is more important than ever coming up in February. I mean, it's more important now because we got the allocation, right? But like, it's, participating in a community and like just laying the groundwork for making sure, you're consistent. You have, people there who can teach new people, but also aren't just like, falling to whatever's just happening. Be active. I've always said this, right? Like every time you ask me what I'm supposed to plug at the end, I'm always like, just get involved in I'll spoil it now. Get involved with your community, right? Because there's nothing better than just like the feeling I felt when I was able to help out the store to be able to get those 9 people able to get in the event. Just there's no better feeling than that. And just there's reasons why the companies do these things, and then there's what you can actually do to help, and there's a middle ground you got to work on there, but do what you can. And I'm not trying to stay too long-winded here, but it's more than just we're more than just playing the game. There's actually a lot of logistics that go into it.
Yeah, and it boils down to what's good for the goose is good for the gander, right? Yeah, it's just you gotta do your part. And I understand that sometimes it could be tough, like if you're the only person showing up to Armory. I've been there. I've been there plenty of times, and it stinks, and you're like, I wasted my night, and yada yada yada. And I think that there are certain things stores could probably do a little bit better as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But the best thing you can do is show up, and I think we're getting to the point where the game has such good press, just naturally, word of mouth, even that you're not going to be the only person at Armory or anything like that. So it's very exciting. So
what I've found is just be in the store playing it. Like sometimes we'll just go to the shop and we'll just hang out, dig through the binders, play some games. And like if people know the game but just don't think it's not being played, they'll be like, oh, tell me more about this. Get the Ira decks, right? Like there's a lot to it beyond just like playing for Armory, and everybody can only do what they can. But I think for me, biggest thing most productive thing is just being there.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, it's the same. It's the same for any game, right? Like, because I'm sure you have done this as well, but if I'm in a store and I see a group of people playing a board game, tell me a little bit
about that.
What is this?
What kind of Euro business is going on in this corner?
Yeah, so it's all cool. It's just like kind of like it's something very unique to game stores and our hobby here. But but no, that's awesome. I'm very happy for you. I'm happy for Philadelphia. As a city, they're doing great.
Yeah. I mean, it's I don't know. From all the episodes I've been on, you can hear the ebb and flow of both Viscerai doing well and good, and Philadelphia's Armory scene doing well and good.
Well, listen, I'm not going to get into the issues with the basketball stadium being built in Center City, but listen, that is that's a whole nother bag of hammers and just not a topic for this podcast. It's a Flesh and Blood podcast now. Fresh faves.
Yeah.
Gary reminded me that last time we did actually do the Rosetta fresh faves, but I thought we'd do something a little fun. Expansion slot fresh faves.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding. First, Gary.
Yeah.
Which hero do you think has gotten the best support / coolest support or your favorite support from expansion slots?
So the thing is, Viscerai has gotten a lot of cards that say Viscerai specialization on them in the expansion slot. He plays none of them. I mean, it would be really great to make my opponent discard 3 cards with that Sonata Phantasmia card, but we're never doing that. Maybe in LL. In LL. It's really tough. I'm gonna have to say though, it's like no question, it's Teklo. Like Teklo has gotten so many Evos. And he always could use more, right? I know. Junior's listening, right? And every time there's a set coming out, he's like, "We need a Met card. We need a Met card." and maybe he's got in my ear a little bit too much, but I think Teklo in general. I mean, he got the new Arcane Barrier base, which is incredible, right? You can play Arcane Barrier now from day one. You don't need to equip it. He got the Arcane Barrier Evos, and he's also gotten the one that the Evo Magneto. So I think, you know, I think in total, Teklo probably benefited the most. And if just from Rosetta alone, like I think also it's Teklo because that Arcane Barrier was so detrimental.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, Assassin got one too, but being able to play 3 of the same card but still do the game plan is really cool.
Yeah, yeah. The Assassin one's like you kind of like had to print it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of neat. I guess like probably Wizard players don't love it, but
they don't.
Well, do they like anything? We got 2 new Wizards, and they're mad about them. Anyway, we love you, Kano players, but I listen. Enchanted Quiver is awesome. Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh that's true. Yeah. Enchanted Quiver is gonna be sick though.
Yeah. I need to cold foil that now. I don't think we've gotten a ton of weapons in the expansion slot, but
there's one I can think of in particular.
There is one banger that I can think of as well. I'm assuming that you're going to pick it as well. Mm-hmm. What is your favorite expansion slot weapon?
Well, it's a dark day here, Thomas. In this household, I built a light deck that wasn't Bolton. I built Prism.
Oh, no.
It's a long time coming. The only reason I did it was because we have a new player who was interested in playing Prism, and we warned him not that playing Prism is difficult. But they opened the Marvel Themis in like one of their first packs, and so it's really hard to fight that fever, right? Mm-hmm. And so I built it because I realized it's actually a deck that doesn't require much crossover between other cards in your collection. And so but without that singular weapon, Luminaris, I think she also probably got the biggest buff too. If you can, I mean, it's Teklo getting, it's tough. But I mean, Luminaris, that card is so stupid. It's so good. It's so good.
I'm really taken aback. I did not think you were going to go with, what was that, New Luminaris? Is this the third one?
The one that broke her. Which one did you think I was going to go?
Well, I mean, based on what we're going to be talking about today, Graven Call has got to be one of the coolest.
I mean, Graven Call's great, right?
It's not very powerful, but it's very cool.
Yeah, but I mean, the amount of joy that people have when they get to play their hero, it's like, it transcends all my negative feelings about Illusionist.
Whoa.
I know, right? I really like, also we have pretty good matchups into them, so I can be a little, but like Luminar, the new Luminaris really changed a lot of people's lives, and recently I got the cold foil, and it's really nice. So.
Let's see how it is.
Sorry, I'm a traitor.
That's all right. What's your favorite equipment that has come from the expansion slots?
There's been a lot.
There has. I wonder if there's a way I can just search them.
I mean, I genuinely think just like putting Arcane Barrier into all these equipment slots and these expansion slots is just really nice because the biggest issue with like printing Rosetta was when they're not just going to print like a Warrior Arcane Barrier, which they probably should print Warrior Arcane Barrier hopefully soon. But it kind of makes sense that they don't have it, right? Equipment. I mean, I kind of through my hand here with Adaptive Dissolver, right? I really like it. I think the art's really cool. The cold foil's really sick. I think probably I can't think of another like equipment that made a difference to me.
Mm-hmm.
Now Adaptive Dissolver in particular was just like, oh man, I need those. Those are so good. Mainly because I play Teklo and Blitz, the Professor one, so he's like my main in Blitz. So
that's Totally fair. I mean, I can't even really think. The only one that, I mean, it's because it's so fresh, is Enchanted Quiver is the one that I'm most excited to get my hands on. But, you know, there have been some cool ones. But the real meat and potatoes of expansion slots is the run-of-the-mill cards, the cards you throw into your deck.
Yeah.
There's been some bangers. There's been some ones that have been game-changing or deck-changing, I would say.
Yeah.
What is your favorite card? What's your favorite expansion slot card?
There's no question that it's Eloquent Eulogy.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Cull, the new card Cull, which we'll talk to, is going to probably be like right here. But I mean, we've been talking for years, Tommy, about Runeblade, and when Vincent came out, I was like, we just need like a 1-cost 4. We just need a 1-cost 4, and we'll be good. And they finally gave it to me, and it is I'm so happy that it's a Majestic, because man, if they had printed that at Rare, Vincent would be nuts. Her consistency would be off the charts. But Eloquent Eulogy is so good. It lets Vincent do so many crazy things with the Eulogy token, the Eloquence token. And we'll get to talking about Cull. Cull's untested but exceptional. Okay, I've done it. I've played Eloquent Eulogy to play Read the Runes as an instant. I've done the hours. I put the hours in, and I'll say it's my favorite.
Listen, totally understandable. I do have to put in my 2 cents here, and as a Riptide player, the expansion
got a hard
slot
choice.
Might as well be named the Riptide slot at this point because we've gotten some cool stuff. Now, the inherently powerful ones, Murky Water, huge. Plan for the Worst, amazing. But my favorite will always be Intoxicating Shot. It is.
Oh yeah,
it's so good. It's just the amount of like smoke out of my opponent's ears when I attack with it. It's just worth it alone. They're just like, well, why? I guess it would trigger the traps. Maybe I don't want that. But then they're like, let me give up 2 cards. Real quick. And you're just like, because you're kind of happy either way. It's so fun.
Yeah. How could I forget about Warband of Bologna?
Oh yeah, that's another banger.
That's technically an expansion slot, right? Because it's a legendary in a set. It's in Bright Lights. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Because I just pulled up. Yeah, but no, because I was like Intoxicating Shot, right? Because that's from Evo. Yeah. No, it's that card. That card is wild. Yeah. It's so good. I'm so happy that you have that card.
Yeah, that one is like, we get the cool stuff. We're gonna talk about another one soon, but that one is like the most like, kind of makes people scratch their heads a little bit, even when they're like, "Oh, do you really want to play that card?" I'm like, what are you talking about? Of course I do. Look at it. It's awesome. It might not be the best, but it's certainly fun.
Yeah.
Now, what class and talent would you be? I think you kind of spoiled this already.
Lightning Runeblade, and as I play a little bit more of Aurora, I feel it. I mean, man, have you played much Aurora?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, and you played against us. You played Acilio, so
Yeah.
I mean, when you get hit with a Codex, and then you have like a sigil of Solace in hand, and you can just do a Boom to Oblivion. I forget what it's called. The Frailty token to be able to send 0 for 4. Like it's nice. It's nice. And you gain 3 life. Yeah. So it's still 2 card 7, right? But yeah, Lightning Runeblade really fits, because I really like to do the little tricky things, and the more I've sat on it, I'm kind of, if there's some listener questions we don't want to answer too quickly, but yeah.
You're skipping ahead, Gary.
I know.
And this is a new question I'm starting to ask. What's your GOAT set of all time? What's the best set you've ever played, or what? In your opinion, what is the greatest set ever created in Flesh and Blood so far?
So
I know what you want to say.
I know. I mean, there's nothing better than opening your first Crucible of War pack, and then you send a message to your friend named Tommy, and and you're like, is this a good card? And it's one of the best moments of your life you'll never forget. But like, welcome to Wraith, man. I mean, it's just the best.
It really
I
is.
opened so many hearts, one of them in front of you.
Yeah.
Um, that banged up box from Al Central just
Yeah.
like
While I was playing against Dex, in Dex's first in-person game of Flesh and Blood. Holy smokes.
Crazy. I mean, I really like that set because, and I should save more of it because like I really like the shapeshifter, Iowa style, whatever, where you just open 3 packs, shuffle them all together. I think it's it's just one of those greatest sets of all time. It's really hard to beat it. If I had to to not have a cop out answer of the first set, honestly, man, I really like Rosetta. Yeah. I really like it. It's so good. All of them are good for Viserai, so I can't complain there. The 2 Rune Blades are unique, but they also do their own. They're unique, but they're also like so powerful. The Wizards do their thing too. And
well, people will complain about those Wizards, but I think they're pretty sick.
No, okay? Verdance is great. Honestly, I can't wait for her to be much better after Enigma goes.
Yeah.
but no, I think honestly Rosetta's really up there.
Yeah.
For me.
I think Rosetta will there's some recency bias there, I think, but probably will stand the test of time, I think, in 5 years.
Yeah. So the way I'm thinking about this, right, is like if I, Runeblade gamer, right? Sure. The best Runeblade set before this one was probably Everfest.
Yeah.
And then before that, we got Creepers, and then before that, we got Arcane Rising. And so I think that Rosetta is better for my classes than Everfest was. And so that's in my head, but this is also my cop-out answer. So Welcome to Wraith is the real one.
Yeah, I mean, Welcome to Wraith is iconic. So yeah. No, great answer. Now, let's talk about some of these expansion slots that we're getting. You mentioned I want to touch on a Runeblade card quick here. Cull, which is a Shadow Runeblade action, so a little juice for Chain and Vincent. It is a red, 0 cost, and it blocks for 3. It has Blood Debt, of course. You may play this from your banished zone. If a hero has lost life this turn, you may play this as though it were an instant. Each hero banishes a card from their hand. Yeah.
Hey, Tommy, what's the best piece of equipment in Brute?
Scowling Fleshbag.
Yeah, it's a great piece of equipment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Imagine if you had 3 of them in your deck and they drew you a card.
And what if you don't get the card that you banish back?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. This card's quite good.
When James White said it's great but subtle, I was like, okay, what's it gonna be? What am I gonna have to cook? And I read it, I was like, no, this is just good. If you have never played a Blood Moon from Arsenal after you get hit with a CNC, as the on-hit effect is resolving, this is going to be better than that. And it's the same exact thing.
Yeah.
So you take their Arsenal. You take their Arsenal every time. You almost always get stuck with Blood Debt cards you can't banish. The hardest part about Vincent is setting up a banish zone that you can go wild with, and Cull lets you do that, and you can pocket it in your arsenal and do the same thing we talked about, right? Where it's like you just wait for the turn that you are going to use this defensively, and you take their attacking card, or you do it offensively, and you just do the exact same thing, but you take a blocking card. Hardest part about that is actually losing life on. I mean, it's a non-shadow non-attack, so you can pay life to it, but you have to have lost life to play it as an instant. So, typical Runeblade shenanigans, you have to figure out how to solve the math problem in order to do your thing. But, oh man, Scowling Fleshbag from your deck. honestly thinking about putting Remembrance in, Tom. I was like, if I can get these back,
why not?
I mean, the biggest issue with her is she gets fatigued so bad, right?
Yeah.
So like, why not just banish their cards? I mean, this thing blocks. This thing can block for 4, basically. It's a defense reaction. Like, it's.
I mean,
you don't have to have a card in hand. You could block out and then play this from banish and then take their arsenal.
At a minimum, I just want to swing Flail and then send this.
Yeah,
right.
Minimum.
That's so cool. Now, do you get an opportunity to play Cull before they declare blocks on the Flail?
So you've paid the cost of life, and then there is a phase before damage, like before the block, before they would assign blocking, because so basically, like, you know how when Kano like tries to go off before you attack, basically,
yeah,
it's like that kind of window. Because this is a cost, it happens before the attack would even be on the chain.
Got it. So if you're like, well, I want to get the rune chant for next turn. And you're like, well, send Flail Cull, that last card out of your hand, or just make things harder for you to block. Very, very cool.
I don't think there's a card that does more on offense and defense in Flesh and Blood. Like Codex of Frailty, maybe. Like, because like you were able to get an attack back while also like negating some weapons on the opponent's turn, and you also draw a card. Like it's a draw 2 minus, can be -3 on the opponent, but like this is like, and your opponent has to respect the threat of activation too. They're counting your calls, so like, this is creepers level for me. Like if this card ends up like. Well, people are buying Vincent cards now, Tommy. People think she's a good hero now. This is life changing.
Listen, it's a trap, and so is this next card that we're talking about. And you've
always been good at segues.
I think it's fair to say Cull is your favorite expansion slot card.
Oh, for sure.
In this set, and then Chain Reaction is going to be by far mine. Although I wanted to talk to you about it because it does have a Creepers-esque thing going on. So Chain Reaction is the new Ranger Defense Reaction trap. Traps. It's a majestic. It's a yellow. It costs 0 and it blocks for 3. Classic trap numbers right there. And then it says when this attack defends an attack with Go Again. So this is a Go Again matters trap. You may turn a non-attack action card in your arsenal face up. If you do, you may play it this turn as though it were an instant. So that's very exciting. Just so you read that and you're like, I get to play things at instant speed. Then you got to think, well, what is good on my opponent's turn that Rangers can play, right? And the list is not long.
Oh, no, it's not.
No, it's not very long. However, it's got some bangers on there, and I'm looking at this specifically in the lens of Riptide for a couple reasons. It's a trap. You get the trigger, and then also if you play this from hand, you will be able to load whatever non-attack. Well, not whatever, but hopefully the non-attack action that you had in hand that you want to flip to play. So the big ones off the top of the dome here are Plan for the Worst. This is a really fun little trick.
Oh, yeah.
Chain Reaction, if it's on a Go Again attack, you already think they're going to go wide anyway. So you go, all right, Plan for the Worst. Take a look at your hand arsenal. Let me go get some more traps. Plan out the rest of this hand. And then they're stuck in a weird position where like they know that their attacks are going to get blanked, that they might as well just pass, but then they would just lose all the cards in their hand and arsenal anyway from the Plan from the Worst trigger.
I mean, that's like a 6-card hand, right?
Yeah. It's
on defense. Yeah.
It's pretty great. So that's a kind of a pretty obvious one. That's pretty cool. The codexes are also really interesting here. Primarily, I think Blood Rot is going to play the best here. And just because you don't really have to give up a card yourself, typically, if you're doing this, because you're going to have an open arsenal anyway. because you're playing this from Arsenal. So, you do the frailty. It's good, but you'll get your attack from the graveyard, but you might have to discard a card from hand. That's not the end of the world. You're kind of also putting them at a point of contention as well. And then Codex of Inertia is really fun. I want to do that one the most, but it's a little bit too crazy. But I don't know. This is exciting. But the 3 of a kind is the coolest.
yeah, that is the coolest. If you have a Tunic and do that, oh my god, what a great line. But you're probably like not playing. You're probably playing New Horizon or something like that, right? If you're like hedging 3 of a kind in your deck, I guess you can get this with Plan for the Worst, so you can set up some stuff. But I'm not a Ranger player, so like how much of a brick is 3 of a kind generally?
So 3 of a kind's not necessarily good in Riptide because you don't have anything with that doesn't play Voltaire. It's not very good, right? Because it's hard to activate your bow multiple times, and then also your 3 of a kind. Sure, it might load one if you're playing Riptide. If you play from hand, and then you get one more bow activation if you didn't use it already. So, because you can't play anything else from hand, so you can't load anything on its ability after that. So, it's not quite good. However, in my current builds with Chain Reaction, I will say I'm playing just one 3 of a kind because I think it will act in a lot of ways. A really neat combo with Chain Reaction for just some extra defense, right?
Yeah.
You look at your hand, you have the 3 of a kind and the Chain Reaction, then maybe something in Arsenal. You trench away the thing in Arsenal, you go Chain Reaction, 3 of a kind, flip it and play it, and then you get a bunch of extra cards. Now you can't play more D-Reacts.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
But if you just draw some block 3s, you're good to go. Or, listen, you just draw 3 and you're like, all right, well, like I just, pinged you and, I'm up a card, kind of.
Yeah.
Because I did have to trench away something. So it's not really
but you want to do that. You want to do that anyway, kind of.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So.
No, it's, man, how good would Toma Fyendal be if you still could play it?
Yeah, I know. I know. Listen.
Yeah, Toma Fyendal, man, that would have been the dream. But hey, I do want to let you know that there is actually one slot that's after Ranger, but before Chaos. It's Hunt 254. Ready for Speculation Hour with Gary and Tom? So
okay,
here we go. Speculation Hour. First of all, I want to finish this Chain Reaction. Amazing.
Yeah.
Warmongers.
Warmonger's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know how much Riptide likes to play Warmongers, but being able to do that would be sick. Truce, if you can make that work.
Truce is a little bit more work, but
yeah. But no, rest in peace to Toma Fyendal. Maybe Riptide and LL. He can play Chain Reaction and
I think
and Toma Fyendal.
Even like I could see this round's on me is probably pretty sweet.
Oh yeah, true, yeah.
So stuff like that. Like there's a lot of options here, but we know what the best options are currently.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Codex of Blood Rot for the kill would be insane.
Yeah.
Like that might actually be a line that you have. Because you know how long those games go.
When you get a surprise Blood Rot, like especially in Outsiders Limited, when Blood Rot Trap was obviously a lot more relevant. When you got it and you would look at your hand and be like, I'm done.
I mean, you can hit him for 4. You can hit him for 2 Blood Rot, right? You could Blood Rot Trap, Chain Reaction.
Yeah.
Blood Rot. Yeah. So like,
if you would do a or attack reaction, is the Blood Rot one. Yeah.
Okay, so that's really hard to pull off then, right? So this is almost like interesting, but yeah. So I've actually been holding out hope for this other card that I want to speculate here.
What's the
spec? I'm going to the Calling Memphis in 3 weeks. There is a playmat that they're giving away called, let me just confirm the wording here, Douse in Rune Blood.
Oh my god! I thought you were going to say there's going to be another trap.
No. Alphabetically, after Ranger, perhaps there is a class in the game. Starts with R. Next letter is U.
Runts?
Dude, I could go for some banana runts right now. Honestly, I need to get the big bag of them.
We don't know what the art is. I'm looking right now. We just know
what
the
art. We know what the art of the playmat is.
You've seen it.
Yeah, it's on the thing. I'll send it to you.
Okay, send it to me because it's
no, it's on a playmat. But this is some whenever I come on here, I'm spreading rumors. But so there's the double calling coming up.
Okay.
Part of like when you get a package, you get like a playmat.
Yeah.
And the launch of this calling is the Hunt release. So
yeah, I mean this is not a card currently, so
no, but we could see.
I think it's a brute card.
No. But yeah, I just wanted to leave some speculation there, just in case people are also on the crunch, like I know some of us are.
It's probably a 0-for-4 go again on hit, discard 2 cards or something like that. I don't know,
bro. I hope so. Because we need them. We need more of them.
Yeah.
As long as it makes a rune chant, I'm happy.
Yeah, well, if you played a non-attack action that turn,
I think it's gonna be. I think that's what it's gonna be. Yeah. As a 0-for-4 no go again, but it makes a rune chant if you've played a non-attack.
So that'd
be good.
Just double Viscerai, right?
Yeah, sure. I'll take whatever. Honestly, right. I mean, I'm holding for everything, but your listeners aren't here to just talk about Runeblade all day, So
that's all right.
But I am.
We do have to get into
Yeah.
Wake up, folks. Wake up, buds.
Wake up.
Do not sleep on the daggers, buds.
Do not. They're sharp.
They are sharp. We saw the daggers this week. We all knew this was going to be a dagger set, the Hunted.
Yeah.
And because we had seen Syndra and Fang's thing, and we knew Assassin just likes daggers, right? Syndra, just a quick refresher. Once per turn instant has 3 costs. Equip up to 2 Draconic daggers from your graveyard. This costs 1 less to activate for each Draconic chain link you control. Typical Draconic Ninja stuff. And then Fang, my boy, if you control 3 or more fealty tokens, dagger attacks cost you 1 less to activate. So let's talk about Syndra's first. The Kunai of Retribution. This is a Draconic Ninja weapon, dagger, one-handed. Once per turn action, pay 1. Destroy this when the combat chain closes and it has attack go again. So you're throwing daggers.
Literally, this is so cool. Very interesting that they actually this destroys itself, and we were really worried how are we going to get these daggers back? How are we going to destroy them with Syndra? This is really easy, honestly. It kills itself, and it's a draconic. They didn't have 1-cost draconic attacks to continue that chain. Rupture's looking a little scary. I mean, what's the breaking point? Is that card where it's CNC?
Yep.
I mean, I'm telling you, man, Blood of Drakai looking better and better every day.
Yeah, it's one of the few fables I own. It is now. It's worth noting, right? And you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong. That since the kunai breaks, was the combat chain? When the combat chain closes, not even the chain link. So it counts towards Syndra's ability.
Oh yeah.
Holy moly! Now you
can't do
you can't do both. But I thought at first that it would break and then it wouldn't be one of the draconic chain links. But obviously that counts towards it. So
I mean, it's going to be interesting. Yeah, because you could do this blade dance. You could do send 1, send 2, 1 turn, and then maybe you have 1 in the graveyard, and then you get that one back. Get that one back while the chain's still open, and then like equip. I guess you can't like equip it until the chain closes.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you have to destroy them first. Oh, that's weird.
Well, hey, listen. First of all, I'm here for Ninja to really work for their big
absolutely.
combat chains after what we've seen. But
yeah,
this is really cool. I like what you're saying. This kind of dance where you're throwing it, you're bringing it back. Maybe you throw both, and then you have to like piece together a turn.
Flick.
Yeah, you can also flick.
So it's still okay. So you could still do it with the flick knives.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So with flick knives, it works. Okay.
Yeah. So this is kind of, I think, what we expected for Syndra. Makes sense. We saw her kind of throwing knives in the art.
The ribbon knives. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. It's very cool. It's very thematic. I know a lot of people are excited for Draconic Ninja to play again. Now, I hope Syndra is not as strong as some of the other ninjas have been out of the gates. But
I do think she's going to be giving Enigma a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
Because and popping all those auras is really tough. But when we think about Draconic, we think about reds. And Wizards love to play against decks with reds.
Oh, yeah.
So Verdansk could be coming back. Maybe our guy Kano. We'll see.
There's going to be a big mix-up. And,
it's really interesting.
Syndra has some existing stuff to work with from Uprising, which is kind of cool as well. So she has a nice card pool.
Cool.
Yeah, spreading flames. So I like the direction here. I think the kunai is just awesome. Any kind of recursion is really sweet. Now, the one I do want to talk about the most personally is Fangs.
Oh, yeah.
Obsidian Fire Vein. This is a Draconic Warrior weapon. Dagger, one-handed. Attacks for 1. Once per turn action, pay 1. Attack. If you've played a Draconic card this chain link, this attack gets +1 and go again.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is awesome. I think this is so cool.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because I've been looking at these fealty tokens for the past 2 or 3 months whenever we saw them.
That's when you've since then, right?
I have them. Listen, folks, if I could just turn around this camera, I have a huge one right in front of my on the wall. And I look at it every morning and I say, what the heck are we doing with this thing? And where are the fealty tokens here?
In front of you.
I should just look at the big one here. Fealty token, those who don't know, it's a Draconic token aura. Instant, destroy this. The next card you play this turn is Draconic at the beginning of your end phase. If you haven't created a fealty token or played a Draconic card this turn, destroy this. So you can bank them up if you're reliably playing Draconic cards, and then also you can always sacrifice one to make something Draconic for the turn so that you get to keep the other ones. So
it's so cool. It's a really, really cool synergy.
It is awesome. And then Fang himself also has a way to create fealty tokens if you hit a marked hero. We don't know a whole lot about how reliably we're going to be able to mark.
Yeah, that's the one question, right?
I have to imagine there's going to be support for it. Now, the coolest thing about this is you got these fealty tokens. So maybe you did bank up a couple, like 3 specifically, and now your Obsidian's attacking for 0. Right? That's pretty good. And your opponent's like, okay, whatever. Do you have the Draconic attack reaction to give this +1 and go again? No, I don't, but I'm going to pop one of my fealty tokens to give it go again and +1. And
Blade Flurry, baby.
Blade Flurry. Yeah. And you're just like, oh. And here's the
Twinning
thing.
Blade, too. It's not a sword, right? Oh, Twinning Blade's a sword, so this is a dagger. My bad.
This is a dagger.
Don't want to get you too excited.
Wait a second. I mean, I see all these daggers around. You know what I think of? A card maybe from your GOAT set. Razor Reflex.
Oh my God, you're so right. You're so right.
1 for 4 with go with go again?
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Now.
Yeah.
So here's the question, Gary.
1 for 5, actually. Wait.
Oh yeah, 1 for 5. Yeah, because this was free.
And it's also +1, so it'll be +3
plus
plus
3,
1
so
plus
5.
1, so it'd be 5. Yeah,
That's pretty good. I would say that's pretty
good.
good. The question is, are we playing Fang? I think I'm going to be playing a little bit of Fang.
I'm gonna pick him up. Yeah.
I think Fang's probably going to be good. Are we playing one Obsidian and one Quicksilver Dagger?
I was thinking that, honestly. Because like the thing is, like, daggers being free is so good. You can Quicksilver for free then, right? Because it's not draconic. So,
but the Quicksilver does need the Obsidian
another
to have
dagger,
gotten
right?
go again.
Yeah, and this is a very consistent way to give warrior weapons go again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like it. No, I think it's 1-1 because you can't overcommit your hand to attack reacts. I mean, I guess you can, but like, I think it's 1-1. It's probably 1-1. It depends how many reacts you play. Are you playing Hot Streak ever? Is that a dagger or is it a sword? I think it's a sword.
That's a sword.
Mm.
Yeah. But this, I mean, I'm gonna say it now. I think Obsidian's gonna be the sneaky, like, all-star.
Here. Oh yeah.
I think this is a lot of upside.
People are so down on Fang in the beginning, and I'm just like, it's mana cheating. It's so good. Like, it doesn't matter. Like fealty. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, when you read fealty tokens and you're like, okay, I have to make them, right? But like, people play Revel, and you have to do that every turn to make Revel work. So like,
but like, it's still a one.
Yeah.
It's still one. It's like on rate.
Oh yeah. It's still on rate. Yeah.
Like, even if you don't have the fealty token, so it's like, I think it's.
Oh yeah.
Like, you do need to get the go again to make it feel good, but like, you ideally want to build around that.
We really need to figure out what marking is. I feel like that's what they're trying to do with this set. They're trying to set us up for like, what could it be? What could it be? How could we do it? And actually, good transition into the next dagger, I guess.
Yeah. Mark Johnson of the Huntsman.
Yeah.
Shout out Mo Boggs.
Oh man. Boggs of the Huntsman.
Mark of the Huntsman is our actual token rarity assassin weapon dagger, one-handed, attacks for 1. Like, it has pretty much the basic text of all these assassin daggers of once per turn action, pay 2, attack with go again, attacks for 1. When this hits a hero, you may choose to destroy this and mark them. If this is attacking a marked hero, this gets +1. So kind of cool, right? You attack with the first one.
Yeah.
Hits, you can pop it, and then the second one's attacking for 2, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So you said that there's some cool stuff you can do here.
Yeah. The first thing I just want to let you know I'm preparing for pre-release is I'm going to be buying a pack of those name tags. It says "Hello, I'm," and I just want people to wear them when they're marked. So they just, "Hi, I'm Mark," because I mean, that to me, as soon as I read that, and you're going to mark them, I was like, "Hey, you're Mark now." But anyway, yeah. So this card is really interesting. In the Judge Discord, there was some discourse about the wording on this weapon. So if you look at it, it says, when this hits a hero, you may choose to destroy this and mark them. It's really important language. So if you think about most of these you may effects, they rely on this if you do clause in order to trigger the effect. In this case, it has no if you do. That's important because there's different ways for this effect to be turned on, and then also the dagger might just not be there to destroy itself. So if the dagger said you may choose to destroy this if you do mark them, you couldn't use it with something like flick knives, because when you use flick knives, you're hitting them, but the dagger is destroyed by flick knives, so it's not actually being destroyed by its effect. But because it says you may choose to destroy this and mark them, you're actually able to say, well, I'm not going to destroy this, but I am going to mark them. Similarly, if they're already marked, we don't know if you can mark them twice. So if you want to destroy this dagger to open your equipment zone, you're able to say, I just want to destroy this, but I can't mark them. So it's nice because you can do both, or you can do either. And they let us do some more fun things with this than the normal destroy this. You may do that. So if you're thinking about picking up Arachne, keep that in mind. The Flick Knives interaction does work, but it's because of the wording. So
it's very interesting because I think some people were down on this dagger.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's not going to be as good as the Majestic daggers. It is the token dagger, and it also needs to make sense within the context of a limited experience, which this is going to have to be, and. The marking is going to be the biggest question here. Like we've seen a couple ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mark Johnson of the Huntsman, and one card that I'm looking here, a Draconic Instant, is Proclaim Vengeance is a kind of a cool way and works with Obsidian too. Instant mark target opposing hero. If that hero is Arachne, gain 1 resource, which is kind of cool. That the Arachne part obviously is very niche. Going to work out in limited a lot more, but I guess you might still want to do it in like constructed against anybody, which is kind of interesting. Yeah. So,
I mean, Proclaim Vengeance just generally is really good in Fang because you do the Proclaim Vengeance like you said. It's going to get +1, and the dagger's going to get +1 and go again. You're going to make a fealty. If you needed to play it, there's going to be some really cool stuff happening in limited. I'm really excited.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. Now, we did see one more dagger, which I don't think they put on.
Hot off the presses, yeah. I'll pull it up on the local server here.
Pull it up. I'm gonna pull it up in the
graphing calculator.
Oh, graphing calculator. Yes, the one that I definitely could not pronounce.
It's a spider, guys. It's named after a spider.
I think it's the scientific name for a spider's mouth. I think somebody told me.
Okay.
So it makes sense. Spider's bite. Yeah. Graphing calculator.
Yeah.
So here it is.
But not a mech card. Not a mech card. Don't get too excited, Junior.
No, not a mech card. So this is Graphene Chelekera or Graphing calculator.
Chelicera, perhaps.
Chelicera.
I don't know.
This is a assassin token weapon dagger. So this is the one that one of the Arachne transformations brings, the Chaos hero.
Yeah, the 3, right? Orb Weaver.
Yeah. Talked about it 2 weeks ago on the pod. It has stealth, which is important. And it has
important.
Once per turn action, pay 1 to attack. When this attacks a marked hero, the attack gets go again. So it doesn't have go again on its own. But it does have stealth, and it doesn't pop itself, and it costs 1.
Yeah, 1 is very good. Honestly, the assassin doesn't really have weapons that attack for 1 resource, right? So,
yeah, no, it's pretty interesting. People used to say 1 is the loneliest number. Now it's the cost of the graphing calculator to attack.
Man, they were those TI-83s that really come down in price since we were in school.
Those were expensive.
They were so expensive.
Yeah, for me to not use them, it was very expensive. Now, so you do need to turn into the Orb Weaver, which will be able to get you the graphing calculator, and you have to discard an assassin card and equip it. And then you also still get the next attack with stealth. This turn gets +3, so that is going to attack 4/4, which is quite good. And it also costs 1 less if you are the Orb Weaver, so it's going to cost free.
Oh, true.
Free and fitty. Holy smokes! That is.
And consider having no weapons, transforming on your opponent's turn, activating this, and then on your turn, activating this and getting 2 graphing calculators.
That's a lot of graphing calculators. I mean, listen, they're rich.
No, but like it's really interesting, right? Like equipping a weapon from the inventory was something we were so excited about from Outsiders, and here we have the weapon. It also stealth. Stealth is so good, but it does nothing. But it's good.
Yeah.
It just turns on a lot of the things that Arachne really likes to do that they really haven't been able to take advantage of because a lot of their cards were just contract. So,
well,
this is
It's almost like you want to turn into Orb Weaver first, right?
Yeah.
And then all of your other ones will start working with the graphing calculators, and and we gotta figure out what the marking is going to be like.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. I hope the Fable is like you get to choose. Imagine if you like it's a chaos card when you pitch this, you transform into a hero, and one of the
like you get to choose which arachnid.
You get to and then like pitch this if you do destroy this or something, like banish this or something. So like if you have the Fable, you could like transform into the one you want, but it's gone forever. It's like your one force. I don't know. That's where I'm speculating with this, because then I love all this chaos stuff. I can't wait. Not as good as Rosetta, not as exciting as Rosetta for me, but wow, is this innovative?
Well,
this set is crazy.
Rosetta was sick, and we still don't have the full picture of the hunted.
We no idea.
I'm really excited for this limited experience. This like mini game kind of thing going on. It's going to be very exciting. Arachne, I just love to see that hero just get more love. You know, Zuri, cool. And then new, whatever, take or leave. Arachne's the business, I think. So very cool to see like Arachne have their own like boom.
Yeah,
this is the marquee set.
I mean, in the Marvels, oh my gosh, it's gonna be
expansive.
Yeah, whew.
But that is gonna do it for the main episode. Now we go to the listener questions, which can be actually, last I checked, submitted in the Buds Discord, which is free for anybody that joins in the show notes below. First comes from William from the Table Pit, who says, which expansion slot Majestics will be worth more than $5 after the set has been out a month or two? And then William says, I think so far only 3? I don't know if William's talking about only 3 of the ones from the hunted. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I think he means like he thinks only 3 of them will be 5 or more.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It's really weird. These expansion slots. You got stuff like Already Dead and Tome of Imperial Flame that are just like in like $60, right? And so some of these are just like it can be like $1, or it could be too much money for me to consider, right? But like looking at the ones we have now, I mean, it really depends on Retrace. I think Retrace the Past has a chance. I think it has a chance. I don't know if it's like guaranteed. I think it might be sitting right below that, like a $4, $3.50 kind of angle. It just really depends on how good that Toolbox Katsu actually is. If Ring of Roses is printed at the lower like quantities, like the legendary ones usually are, I could see it being a little bit higher. Just because like people, it's harder to get, and you only need one. But like you remember, when they underprinted Surgical Extraction and they overprinted Regicide. It's the same situation here, right? So if getting a Ring of Roses might be hard, and I think Verdance is a really sleeper hero. She's just generally a good hero, but like doesn't really have her time in the sun right now. So I think Ring of Roses probably has a good chance. Cull, I think people are going to ride the hype train, no question. That card's going to be probably $10, like, or more. So if I had to put my best guess, I would probably say Cull probably has the best chance. The Guardian equipment is unfortunate, but I don't think it'll make a dent. I wish I had a better hope for it.
Cold foil,
I would say
maybe. I mean, but
the cold foil. So the thing is, the Ring of Roses will have a cold foil, and that will be a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Right. And so I don't think Spurlocked will. Yeah, I'm gonna say Cull, Ring of Roses, and Retrace the Past of these. There's still a few to reveal. We're gonna say Dowson Runeblood's gonna be $1 million to the moon.
Thick Hide Hunter is gonna have that full art, right? The mini
well,
text.
Yeah. Anything with a full art.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been lowering those drop rates.
Yeah.
For the full arts. But
so here's Chain Reaction's going to be one that spikes above that level from time to time. Whenever there's a new good card to trigger off of it, it just feels like that nice little combo piece. But probably will hang around the $5 range. Enchanted Quiver, it's just a sideboard card. You only need one of. So yeah, I mean, Spurlocked is cool from a collector standpoint, I think.
It's cool. I mean,
I love
once I learned that. Oh yeah. Oh wait, did you see the ham sandwich on it?
Yeah. It's so cool.
Yeah. No, it's really cool. I'm happy for Brody that he got his likeness on the card, and the ham sandwich just sends me. Oh, it's so good.
But yeah, I think that's probably it. Now the next question comes from Capolo. If you were given a multi-million-dollar budget to do your own project for LSS to expand the Flesh and Blood IP, what would you do? Also, we'll get to the second one after.
Expanding the IP, I think, basic answers, release PvE. Come on, guys, get it together. But I was talking to the store owner about what PvE for Flesh and Blood might be, and I would really love like an arch enemy style game. We did in the past. We know about. I think we talked about this like beat up the car event that they've had, but when I went to PAX Unplugged, which I don't think I talked about last time when I was on, but I was playing Altered, and Altered had this event where basically like you would go and you'd fight essentially the community manager, and the community manager had like a playmat of that for that event. So I have like a Philadelphia 2024 Altered playmat, right? And the hero was literally that guy and his cat. So that was the coolest thing I think I've done at a convention, and I think that is the kind of, and the hero was kind of overpowered. It wasn't like it was like it wasn't fair, right? It was a dice roll hero, but like it is what it is. I would do something like that at conventions. I feel like our convention experience is good. It's good. We have the cool booths, but I feel like it's a little stale. First strike decks are good. Blitz decks are the Ira decks are good, but like you need something to like bring in the lore of the game, right? Like we have so much lore, but we don't really actually explore it once we're playing the game. And there's just so much we could do. The heroes take on Arathiel. People are coming through the portal. Some person plays the portal and summons them on. Like I think I said, I don't know if I said this last time I was on. I think LSS is, there's this phrase called the enemy of good is perfect. The enemy of great is perfect. And I feel like we're standing still right now with PvE and because of that, LSS wants to release the best version. Yeah. But like what Alter did was really cool. And honestly, I just kind of wish Flesh and Blood did the same thing. I spent more time at that Alter booth than I did at Flesh and Blood because of that event. Because I wasn't going to play the Pro Quest because there's a big event happening, but I wanted to sit down and I wanted to play against the weird, wacky hero. And then I wanted to move on with my day. I think a lot of people would want to do that. And so I think I would put the time into building something like that, where there's a cool trophy prize, or even if it's just like a promo card or something. Like imagine if like you went to a tournament and you fought James White. You know what I mean? Like they did that Ultimate Pit Fight thing once at Baltimore. That was really cool. Let's do it again. Let's make that it doesn't need to be James White. It could be
like the dev
right?
challenge.
The dev, but you had like with the dev challenge, you kind of had to like make it in there, and it should be more of a passive thing. Like it. Dev challenge is and congrats to Dagan. Still, that's crazy, but like I think that it just needs to be more of a like, oh, this is a cool thing that they did that is more casual or more lore exploring. Because we have so much. So
yeah, there's a lot of lore. I mean, I I would like some novels, maybe. Like I know they probably are not that profitable, but or even sell that well. But it'd be nice to have.
Yeah.
I think that maybe there could be a little bit more leverage in an already amazing product of the Armory decks.
Yes.
Throw a little lore booklet in each of them.
Oh my god! Like the Dory versus Reiner, the little booklets.
Yeah.
But actually, yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot to be done, but it's not like they're not doing a great job already.
No.
Capolo also asked a new classic Capolo question: which Flesh and Blood hero would be the best chef, and how would they cook meeps for Capolo's birthday?
Oh yeah, you guys both have a birthday coming up. Same birthday, right? Yeah.
Yeah. We're both turning 21.
Just like you're turning as old as Flesh and Blood is.
Yeah.
It's 5.5.
5.5. To all the listeners, I didn't exist before this.
No. That's why he's fresh.
Yeah.
The best chef, honestly, like you got to think about somebody with good blade work, right? You got to think about somebody who could really slice and dice. Somebody who's knows how to go to the grocery store and spend copper where it counts. Hire the right chefs for the job. I'm thinking Kasai. Out on the road. I mean, she's got to make do with what she's got to make do with. And Kasai's got the daggers. She's got the knives. She's got hot streaks. She showed the blades hot. She's cutting those meeps up. I think Kasai makes a lot of sense. Now, murdering those meeps would put a lot of blood on her hands too. Whoa. That is also playing into my thought a little bit. And yeah, so I think Kasai.
Part of me thinks that meeps don't have blood. It's more of a slime. More of
an ooze.
An ooze. Ooze on her hands. I got ooze on my hands. And Oz, where, I don't know, on my eyes? I don't know. What are we talking about? From Greg, a.k.a. Darth Prentice, for Gary, how many Oscars will Wicked win?
Yeah. Well, I liked Wicked. It was good. I'm not a huge. I never saw it on stage. I think Ariana really put those acting lessons to work. I'm big fan of Ariana, but I'm also a big critic. And she put in the hours. And I think it's gonna win because the Academy loves that movie. Well, I'll just say 4.
4.
They're gonna get all the costume ones. They're gonna get the music ones. Like there's probably either gonna be a best supporting actor, best supporting actress, or because like Elphaba, I mean, she did a really good job, and I could see her winning. Mm-hmm. But there were a lot of good movies this year.
Yeah.
I mean, The Substance, like,
haven't seen
you haven't seen it? Yeah. Oh my, but dude, you have to see The Substance. You're gonna love it.
Yeah, I do.
So good. But honestly, I think that The Substance could win for Best Actress, and so it'd be tough for her to get that. And supporting actress, I could see them giving to Ariana because she did a really good job. So I could say 4. That's my guess. We'll ping. We'll check later.
We'll circle back.
Yeah.
And then Greg also
3.
says,
I'm going to say 3.
Okay, 3. And if I have to ask a Flesh and Blood question, Greg also asks, how many hours has it been since young Viscerai LL'd?
Hours or minutes? Because I did the calculation for minutes, and it's over 1 million minutes.
That's
because it's been more than 2 years. Brian, I know you're listening.
He tuned out a long time ago.
I know.
When we started calling it graphing calculator. All right, I'm out.
Well, all right. Yeah. So about 17,000 hours.
Okay.
Give or take. We'll put it that way. About that's about the whole run of The Simpsons, probably.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's a lot.
It's been a long time.
17,000 hours. That's the James Franco movie, right? Andromeda asks, is the Purple Man still your love?
Oh, yeah. No questions. I mean, look behind me. Nothing. Well, something's changed. I added a Vincent poster.
Oh, very nice.
But no, he's the best. He's the best. There's nothing I'll never talk shit about Viserai. He's my boy.
Junior with a topical question.
Yeah.
Which hero would Jimmy Carter, or the late Jimmy Carter, play? For those of you who don't know, Jimmy Carter was the president of the United States in the 70s. Just passed away at the age of 100.
Yeah. He made a joke in some other server. It's like somebody wasn't really feeling well. They said they were almost dead, and he was like, "Was Jimmy Carter your Horcrux?" And I was like, I sat in my room. I was laughing. Oh man.
That's a wild one. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Junior, I'm going to ban you from my Discord for saying it elsewhere. Oh my God.
But I think honestly, like he'd probably be an Earth. He'd probably be like an Earth character. He loved his peanuts.
Terra, maybe.
He might be Terra. He'd probably be Terra. Not young.
No, certainly not. At heart,
no. Terra for sure.
Sigma asks, any plans to bring the Bud Rush Bellows back? I would like to at some point when, I got a new job. For me. And, once I figure out this new schedule, it's a little less volatile, which is nice.
That's nice, yeah.
So once that gets figured out, I'm glad.
I'm always ready to hop on the mics with you, Tom.
Yeah, and Sigma also asks, when are you flipping to Vincent?
Well, I actually did flip for a little bit before Rosetta. I was on her because Viserai it was dark times. It was dark times. He was just as inconsistent as he was, but Disruption was really, really high because Victor was really good. And so Victor was a really bad matchup for Viserai back then. No longer. I'm going to bounce between Vincent and Aurora, honestly. Like, I might just roll the dice every night when Viserai goes. Because they both do really different things. Call's going to probably change me back to Vincent, though, because, man, I love taking cards from people. It's so good. It's so good. And, just being able to banish your own cards to get to an empty hand is just, so good. So.
Oh, well. This kind of actually plays into the next question. Farsis asked, what other heroes have you taken a fancy to? And William also chimed in and said, what heroes have taken a fancy to you?
Well, Aurora has definitely made a dent. Dory, incredible. But the biggest hero who's taken a fancy to me is Kano. He showed up in a pack the other day.
Oh, boy.
He showed up in a little Spanish Marvel here.
Spanish.
Yep, we got some Spanish boxes in at the shop. And so technically Kano has taken a fancy to me. I will answer that with he found me. I'm better because of him.
Well, he looks beautiful. Gary, this has been another amazing episode. 170 episodes of Fresh and Buds.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's the last episode too. Sorry, folks. No. I got a couple more in me, I think.
At least like you got to get to 200.
Yeah. I got some planned. I got some fun guests coming up, folks. Nothing as good as Gary, but listen, who did I just get on the books? Ponkage is joining the show.
Oh,
folks.
Yeah? Nice. The smoke show?
Yeah, the ethnic smoke show. That's next week. And then I think TCG Ted might come on the show.
Oh, nice. Love Ted.
Ted's a good bud. Who else did we just get on the show? Oh, we're going to get special
spoilers for you for the people who made it all the way to the end.
I know. Yeah, I kind of, this is a longer episode, so I want to give some Vinny is, you know who Vinny is? Well, that's the person cutting my hair. That's in my calendar. Howling Minds.
Oh, Scott's
great. Coming on.
Yeah.
And then we might be getting
great name too. When we were on Bud Rush and we were thinking about names in Flesh and Blood, Scott Mines.
Scott. Oh yeah.
I think that's his last name.
Is that really?
I think it is. I think it is because from his like letter from like his articles. I think he's right. I think so. Could be wrong.
Ooh.
Could be wrong.
Listen.
I don't want to spread the. I'm going to look it up. But
no,
for some reason,
I'll make a note and I'll ask him. What's the last name? Tell me now.
Because if it's Scott Mines, like that's a banger.
That's pretty sick. Scott, can't wait to talk to him. You know, we might be getting a certain person that made Kano really good, and is developing another game that's also a lot of fun called Thrive. We might be getting that person. And then, we'll see. We got a lot of great episodes. And, of course, Kale's coming back on in a couple weeks to talk about some more Volcor lore. Folklore? Okay.
Folklore, yeah.
And I got to reach out to Bill about the set review. It's going to be tougher now that my schedule isn't as flexible, but we'll see. I'll
can't just do 6 hours of content where the sun changes. You see all phases of the moon in the background.
The set review will come out now. That was all some inside baseball, but Gary, can you please plug anything you'd like to plug?
Yeah. Always help out your local game store whenever you can, more than ever. Show up to your armories. February is going to be a really big deal for stores because the armory kits are changing. No more armory promos. They're all going to be in the gem packs. So if you've been holding out on going to your armory just because it's like, I don't want to make it out, February, you might want to start. Rewards are about to get a lot better. And you're not going to, it'll make a big difference to the stores. I don't really have much to plug. Just join the Buds Discord. It's a great spot. You know what I'm going to plug? The Bazaar. You've been liking it. Tonight there was a patch. So when we're hopping off here, I'm gonna be playing that. But yeah, oh man, the Bazaar is so good.
An eye patch.
So can't wait.
Because it's pirates.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my plug.
Awesome. Yeah, the Bazaar is fun. I played a lot when the beta started. I got to hop back in. Been playing a lot of other
patch,
games.
So it's all brand new. So
that's very exciting.
Where do you talk about those?
Well, the other games that I play. Well, first of all, I do want to shout out to the Buds Discord. It's a great place to hang out. If you're watching on the YouTube, we're almost at 1,000 subs. We're so close. Guys.
Oh wait, maybe I should subscribe. Hold on.
Oh, Gary, that's very, very nasty. Please check out the Blue Sky. There's actually a giveaway going on there if you want to check that out for some scarves. You still got to buy the envelopes for those, but it's been a busy couple weeks. But they will be going out to some special people. And then Fresh Juice, an indie video game podcast.
An indie game video.
Yeah.
Just one.
where me and my cousin Matt do reviews of indie video games. It's a good time. We have some good, fun games. This week's game, I gotta tell you, it was something else. I tell you that much.
Yeah.
It was scary.
I'm a frequent listener.
Yeah.
Can highly recommend.
Yeah. And finally, Gary, got to talk about some food. I'm going to guess in my head what you're going to mention. Fired off.
Ooh, okay. So one thing that I really love about Philly, just generally, is we have a lot. We got a lot of good variety, all really close. And during PAX Unplugged, we had two of our favorite buds come and stay with me, Caleb and Seth. And if you're an OG bud, you remember Caleb and Seth. They pop their heads back in now and then. They're back now. And man, it's so good. Just going out super late at night, going to the local steak shop, super cold, getting yourself a banana pudding milkshake.
I wasn't guessing any of that.
No. There's this. Oh man, I think I've called it out before. But I know what you thought I was going to say, and I'm also going to say that. But I just, you got to just go for a walk with your buds in the middle of the night, get yourself a 2-foot cheesesteak. That's the move. Yeah, it was a great time. But no, Taco Bell chicken nuggets. Yes. Amen.
They're good?
So good. So
I haven't
good.
had them yet.
Yeah. No, they're actually good because the problem with most chicken nuggets is that they're just like your standard chicken nuggets. These are more like, you know, think like Trader Joe's like chicken bites kind of things.
Okay.
Where they've got, but like the crust is like kind of a little crunchy. You know, it's almost like a panko-y, but it's like tortilla. They got a little tortilla chip in there, and then the chicken's pretty good. Like it's like they're kind of like their fajita chicken. You know, so it's like it's kind of moist, and it's, you know, they're pretty good. Get the 10-piece though. I regretted the 5.
Yeah, they do look good. I do want to try them. I haven't been near. I mean, I guess I do go near a Taco Bell, but not at like Taco Bell eating hours. Yeah. You know, which is
I didn't try putting hot sauce on them though. That was the one thing I because they had a spicy ranch.
Okay, I mean, listen, if it's
so
what
I was
they
trying
offer,
that.
I know how these fast food restaurants work. It's a prison.
I had to try it with the spicy ranch. I should have put the hot sauce on it though. I'll come back. I'll let you know.
Yeah. Well, I'll probably try them at some point. I did just get a text from Charmer saying that he won't be able to make it this week.
Oh man, because he's trying the nuggets because he heard about them.
He's trying the nuggets, and listen, everybody, please stay fresh.